I remember standing outside a booking. I was about to go in. I had just packed and had my keys in my hand. I could just feel it. I was about to put it away, and I was just thinking, I don't know if how much I can take this any longer. And that thought scared me because nothing had actually gone on. I wasn't failing. I wasn't incompetent. I wasn't unqualified anymore. I, at that time, was just tired of walking into rooms, bracing myself of the unknown, of like, what am I going to meet? Like, and I just realized, like, oh my goodness, if I didn't have to deal with this, then I was going to have to leave the career because this was not working. What I was doing was feeling hard. You know, you're going into spaces and then you feel tense, like the shoulders cracked, like it's, and then you're just going in with like eyes, like what am I gonna see? Who, what are they gonna do when they get up and like raise their hands and start waving it? Would I get them? Like just that feeling. And the funny thing is like when I'm just observing, it's all right. I totally know what's going on because of my tendency of in that moment, like I used to be this shy, introverted person, lumped up with the being dyslexic, and then like having that worry of like, would I understand them? What about if they spell something or sign something? And then having all this feeling of like dread going with it, of like, how am I going to do this? Constantly, every single job I went into, of like, how am I going to deal with this thing? And it was getting to the point of, I am loving this. It's giving me somewhat the freedom away to pick and choose the jobs I do and stuff like that. And the feeling of like, and now I have to like sometimes work with other people. And then it's more like a tussle of like, okay, let's see who outshines each other in front of this deaf person. Let's see who wins the battle. Or like, oh no, 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 it's this. Or like, and then again, it's just that feeling of like, oh my goodness, the safest option was just to like maybe like, and this is the thing. In this thing, I've seen colleagues like leave of actually you could just see the terror in them. And when I saw a very competent interpreter choose a very safe option to go and work in a school, same routine, same child, they're used to the person, so that they just kind of like, you know, technically safe option. So they don't have to deal with those mundane, okay, I don't know who I'm going to see. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no this, I know that. And when you hear this person is now has left, is now doing something else, this person is now working in another place, or this person is now working in this school with this child, and da, da, da. And then you be like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, what's the deal? That kept it was just it's one of those things like the pull and push thing going. I'm loving this. I enjoy this. At the same time, the unknown is just the uncertainty that is like really grinding on me. I am not sure if I can take this any longer. That feeling was so heavy. And it wasn't about leaving because I hated interpreting. It was, I was thinking about leaving because my body never felt ease doing it. When I was actually working, it was always tense. I would go home at the end of the day, like, ugh, like just, and you would think like I only went and did like one or two bookings, but you felt like I had done a like labored work. Like I've carried some bricklayers from one end to another and built up this big house. Like that kind of tiredness was how, this was for me. And it wasn't like it got to the point where, look, I just had to make a decision of like, am I going to carry on with this? And if so, what's that going to look like? And because of the decision doesn't mean that all of a sudden I became confident. No, what that one decision did for me was I wasn't going to let this unprocessed feeling decide my future for me. I wasn't going to keep on dealing with how I'm feeling every time I step out of my front door to go somewhere, to go and see what this day would bring, to see who that I might encounter, to figure out like what's this makeup of day going to be like. Having that burden of like, oh gosh, okay, what's this gonna be? That was the knock-on effect. So deciding and knowing that, okay, this feeling, we ain't doing this anymore. What does that get to look like? And this is where we don't give it the time to mature. The mundane things that needs to work to get us to that place of comfort. Where we're like doing the things that will make our nervous system feel safe, doing the things that would start recoding that radio that's playing in the background of our mind. That thing that is like, okay, what is it that I want than what I don't want? What am I focusing on? That's hard. And that's like when you have a rubber band and when you just expand it at one time it's going to go back to his form. So me making that decision, yes. And that's where the work started. And in that work of doing that mundane task of, okay, I'm making a decision of the becoming, I'm making a decision of this is how I want to roll, sticking at it. And when the brain goes, for the safety or for like alerting or whatever, going back to this is what it is, this is what it is. Doing those things, those repetitive things that would to bring that safety, to bring that calm, so that over time I started being fine. That now, like I go in, I walk into the bookings, okay, what's it gonna be like? It just feels like Christmas, or like how are we going to like, what's today gonna be like? How are we gonna bring joy? Like it's just the evolution over years of like how it's been, and the deciding, they're doing while we go through those ups and downs. So if you've ever considered leaving while you're still becoming, and you found this channel is for you. This is where we work on those practical things, the ideas, the things that we need to do to keep us in our, I was gonna say in our lane, to keep us going, to keep us focused, to keep us like knowing that this is what we want to do. It is just the thing I call the thieves of our dreams that is taking us off course to the thing that we want. Be it that imposter syndrome, that self-doubt, the loathing of self, the fear of even being successful at this, or the fear of failing at this, or the rejection of it, or the stress that comes with it. We get to start figuring those things out as we plan on this journey here. So, yeah, make that decision, stick with the becoming, do those mundane things of what's going to help support in the feeling, in the shifting, in the reassuring of this nervous system that no, we've got this. This is what we're doing. We have decided that we're going to be that interpreter, that translator, that language professional. Till next time, remember your voice matters and it's your time to use it. Bye for now.